Great. So when I finally can take you out of the room and you can finally have a cigarette, what you do is you take a deep drag right down to your toes, and what you say is, ha ha ha, boy, do I enjoy this. But what's really going on is you are relieving your pain, relieving your discomfort from the time that you couldn't have a cigarette or you went without a cigarette. And let's face it, if you didn't feel that anxiousness or that nervousness or the crankiness or whatever, you wouldn't smoke. So let's take a look at what's really going on. Is it really enjoyment? So let's look at things that you enjoy: going to a movie, going to a restaurant, playing, doing your favorite hobby, playing with your animals, or if you have them, or just things that you really enjoy doing. That's enjoyment. And then on the other side is smoking. And what you do when you smoke, it's not really enjoyment. I know you don't want to hear this, but it's not really enjoyment. It's just relieving your discomfort, relieving your pain. So what I start to do in my program, Nicotine Solutions, is I start to separate out what is real enjoyment and what is just relieving your discomfort or relieving your pain. So I want you to start to think about that. Do I really enjoy smoking, or is it just relieving my pain? So then another thing that I said is, I will give up the last 5 years of my life if I can have my cigarettes now, because I was starting to bargain then, saying, well, I know I can't quit, so maybe I'll just give up the last 5 years of my life if I can have my cigarettes now. And the problem with that is you don't give it up in a lump sum at the end of your life. You pay for it every day in the quality of life you are living. Every time you run up the stairs and you can't really, you kind of wheeze at the top, or every time you'd have more stamina, or you think, God, I could smell better if I weren't a smoker, or you're paying for it every day in the quality of life that you're living every day. You don't pay for it in a lump sum at the end. And so then I said all those things. I said, I can't relax, I can't concentrate, I don't want to gain weight, I enjoy smoking, and I'll even give up the last 5 years of my life if I can have my cigarettes now. And what I realized is those were all kind of rationalizations. And so then I said, well, what I really want is to, I said, well, I'm kind of afraid of quitting. So there's 3 main fears that just about everybody has about quitting smoking. The first fear is the fear that, I'm going to fail. And nobody really likes to say, okay, I'm going to quit this time, and everybody's looking at their watch going, oh, I wonder how long it's going to take them this time, to fail. And so my program has a 90% success rate, and all you have to do is attend the classes and do the assignments. And the classes these days are held virtually, and they're held over in a Zoom meeting or something like that. And they're very small groups, like only up to 9 people. And they're very interactive, and they're even kind of fun. So I'm going to give you an example of one of the assignments in just a little bit. So what you can do is get an example of kind of one of the small examples of what we do in the class, and you can try it out. And then the other thing that is a fear is some people say, I don't want to climb the walls or go cold turkey. I don't want to confess anything or bare my soul or go to meetings for the rest of my life. And so this program is the opposite of like a 12-step program. And one of the things that I noticed about 12-step programs, I've been to a couple, and what happens at the end of most of those meetings is everybody runs outside and has a cigarette and a cup of coffee. So I know that there's very, very, very few nicotine anonymous classes left, and the reason is it just doesn't work for nicotine, for stopping smoking or stopping chewing. And so the third fear that most people have is the fear that if I quit now, I'm going to lust after people's cigarettes for the rest of my life, and I'm going to be just like my dad. Now, my dad, he quit smoking way, way before there were any programs to help people quit. He quit cold turkey. He'd sneak down to the basement, a couple of times a week because I could smell it. And the other thing that he would do is after he had quit for like 10 years, he would, if somebody was outside smoking, he would be behind them sniffing after their smoke. And I saw him do that a lot. And I said, do you still want a cigarette after you've quit for 10 years? And he said, every day. I'd rather be a smoker than that'd be just like your own personal hell. I just can't imagine being that uncomfortable and still wanting a cigarette after you quit for 10 years. So that's just ridiculous, to have to do that. So what I want you to do is to answer the questions below. And I have those 3 fears, or maybe if you have fears, or maybe it's not a fear, maybe it's a concern. So I've listed those 3 down below, and then you can also add another one if you have a concern about quitting or about a fear. And so sometimes people have a concern, or and they say, well, what if I quit and my spouse doesn't quit? Well, we can even teach you how to be around your spouse or friends that smoke and not be triggered by them at all. So down below, tell me what are some of your fears or concerns about quitting smoking.